For a party that had been fractured by infighting, the People's United Party pulled out all the stops on Sunday in a show of unity that rivals an election year campaign stop. The Holy Ghost Primary School compound and the adjacent beachfront was awash in blue and white as thousands of PUP loyalists and supporters from every corner of the country journeyed to the culture capital for the event. Billed as a unity convention, Sunday's forum saw the election by acclamation of the new executive, with John Briceño being returned unopposed as party leader. Carolyn Trench Sandiford, who gave up the chairmanship of the PUP, is now the first woman to be elected as a deputy leader of Belize's oldest political party. Taking her place as chairman is Henry Charles Usher. Following the convention, Briceño told Love News that he is humbled to have been chosen to lead the party again.
I'm very pleased and excited when I see the thousands upon thousands of Belizeans from across the nation, from Corozal all the way to Toledo, that have come here with us to show us that support. But at the same time, you know, I also accept it with a sense of humility when I think about the awesome responsibility that now is on my shoulders, that we have to take this party and move it forward, and that within 2.5 years that we have to change the United Democratic Party government. We have to get them out. We have a moral obligation to the Belizean people to right the Belizean ship once again.
This was billed as a unity convention. Was that objective achieved this afternoon?
Certainly. We have representatives and people from every single constituency. All 31 constituencies were here present today to demonstrate their support to me as a party leader, but just as important to show and demonstrate their support for the People's United Party.
But despite the party leader's pronouncement that the objective of unity was achieved on Sunday, noticeably absent from the gathering were Albert Area Representative Marcus Spat and his Lake Independence counterpart Cordell Hyde. Prior to Sunday, both men served as co-deputy party leaders. Briceño says now that he has been returned as leader unchallenged, he will not dwell on the past but is looking toward the future.
What is important to point out that today we have representation from all 31 constituencies. The 31 constituencies were represented here today to speaking in one voice, that we are blue, that we are PUP, and that we are ready to take on this government. Now, the Honorable Cordell Hyde and the Honorable Marcus Spat are talented people. They are persons that have a lot of ideas, and that we are going to continue to reach out for them to be able to work. There's a lot of work to do, not only in the National Executive, but we also have a lot of work to do in the National Assembly, in Parliament.
While the main order of business on Sunday was the election and swearing in of the new executive, the PUP also tabled a set of resolutions touching some of the pressing national issues confronting the country today. These include the economy, crime and violence, and the judiciary. On the issue of crime and violence, the PUP leader told the Love News that the current government is impotent on crime and that a future PUP administration under his watch would be tough on crime as well as the criminals.
I've been saying it over and over that the government has no plan, that they do not have the ability or the capacity to be able to handle this mindless violence that's taking place in our country. Just today we heard about a husband and wife being brutally murdered in Belize City, and my sympathies goes to, I knew him personally, and to his family. We can't continue to go down this road. The government has to get its act together, and we need to act decisively. We know that there's a problem. Let's give the police department the necessary resources to be able to police the areas where we have the biggest problems, the hotspots in Belize City. We know that we need to strengthen the DPP office, and that if we're losing so many cases, then let's hire some of the private attorneys to go and represent us. We're already doing it with Lois Young Barrow, the ex-wife of the Prime Minister. We've paid her probably about $2 million by now. So if we can use that for civil cases, then let's do it for criminal cases. We have to ensure to give one message to the criminals that if you commit a crime, you are going to be committed in prison. You have to pay the time.
The PUP resolution on crime also includes a proposed $50 million super fund, which would be used to help in the fight against crime, especially the root causes of crime. As for the judiciary, Briceño says the Barrow administration is making some worrying moves that a future PUP government will work quickly to reverse.
To us, that is even more troubling, what the Prime Minister has been doing over the past 2.5 years. And he, as an attorney, should know better that you do not tamper with the judiciary. The judiciary is almost your last line of defense for justice in this country. And here we have the government. Look at the Chief Justice, how he was pretty much dumped aside. When here we have, everybody will tell you, one of the best Chief Justices that we had in decades. And the Prime Minister refused to even allow the Chief Justice to finish the cases that he had. And we know why. Because these cases that were there are cases that also have something to do with the government. We know that whenever a judge would rule against the government, the Prime Minister then reacts badly. Or then what many businesses are concerned of, that when they go to court, they know that the only way that if they get a ruling against them, that they have to go to the Court of Appeals, where again, in most cases, those cases are overturned. We are very concerned with the judiciary, and I want to make it absolutely clear that once we get into the government, we are going to give the judiciary a high priority to ensure that it becomes independent. We have to ensure that we could amend the Constitution to ensure that whenever we want to tamper with the rights and of allegiance in this country, that we must have a referendum, something that the Prime Minister refuses to do. So there's a lot that we have to work, and we are very concerned when it comes to the issues of the judiciary.
A conservative estimate of the attendance at Sunday's PUP convention puts the crowd at 10,000. Over 200 buses and a wave of private vehicles traveled to Dangriga for the convention. Briceño says the PUP now has its sights set on Belmopan to take over the government. Sunday's convention, he said, marked the start of a journey that will end with him being sworn in as the Prime Minister.
Yes, we are marching to Belmopan. We are united, we are ready, and we are going to take on the UDP in the House, in the media, in the newspapers, and on the streets. We need to get them out as quickly as possible from Belmopan. They have shown that they are unable to govern this country, so it's time for Dean Barrow and the UDP to leave.
Making a special appearance at Sunday's PUP National Convention was the Leader Emeritus, the Right Honorable George Price. He got a standing ovation when he was introduced and, in his trademark style, called on all PUP supporters to rally behind their leader and maintain the principles upon which the party was founded.
We of the People's United Party serves the people. The people are our masters, and we serve them. That is why we are here. And that is the work we have to do to make life better for all Belizeans. And there's a lot of good things the PUP has done to bring up the rural areas. The work of roads, electrification, water, etc., etc. But the work has to continue, and we must continue to serve. You are our masters, the People's United Party. And please understand that we serve. And that's the message I brought you. And we had much success. We started out to bring independence and to make Belize a nation, member nation, or a nation member of the United Nations. With the blessing of God and the support of our people and you, we have done all this. May we then continue to work the same, serving you. That's my message.
In his address, the immediate past leader and former two-time Prime Minister Said Musa used the opportunity to pay tribute to those, past and present, who worked to help build the People's United Party.
Because let's face facts, we did suffer a terrible defeat in 2008. And we must accept where we went wrong. We must accept that many of us had lost touch with the people. And we must never blame the people. We can never blame the people. This movement began as a radical party to bring about real change, to uplift the poor and the downtrodden, and to make life better for all. And we must rediscover our roots. Because as you have heard today, as we all know, Belize is in crisis.
And in case anyone missed the message that was blared from loudspeakers on the beach, the placards and slogans on the t-shirts helped to reinforce that at least on this Sunday afternoon, the Blue Machine's engine is firing on all cylinders. Whether or not it will be enough to propel them to Belmopan in 2013 is yet to be seen. Reporting for Love News, I am Patrick Jones.